This just in. Are we actually getting worse at marketing our businesses? We proudly strut around with our highly expensive smartphones, convinced we have mastered the exact science of digital visual storytelling. But a massive new digital archiving project by Sabinet and Coherent Digital on Africa Commons just exposed our modern arrogance. They have successfully digitized more than 20,000 pages of rare South African photo story magazines from the 1960s. Looking at how these vintage publications practically hypnotize their readers reveals a highly embarrassing truth about our current marketing strategy. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Vicky Sidler, StoryBrand certified guide and duct tape marketing strategist from the Strategic Marketing Tribe. And I help small business owners like you build failure-proof marketing by focusing on the exact 20% of effort that drives 80% of the results. All so that your marketing stops feeling like a miserable second job you never asked for. I believe your absolute greatest competitive advantage is simply sounding undeniably human. Because, let's be honest, if your marketing relies on generic stock photos and boring corporate jargon, you are actively driving your clients away. You must tell a story they actually care about. So download my 5-minute marketing fix to identify exactly where your messaging is quietly costing you sales so you can hook your audience with undeniable clarity. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, why is a 1960s comic book better than your Instagram strategy? If you scroll through the average corporate social media feed today, you will find a desolate wasteland of generic stock photos and synergistic buzzwords that absolutely nobody wants to read. But the publishers of True Africa and She in the 1960s did not have the luxury of an addictive digital algorithm. They had to capture human attention using cheap paper and ink. To do this, they created what historians accurately call cinema on paper, using staged photographic sequences accompanied by snappy dialogue and captions. They built a visual narrative that literally forced the reader to turn the page. Each issue ran between 40 and 70 pages, exploring highly relatable themes like workplace conflicts, social drama, and moral courage. They kept their audience completely hooked without a single digital trick or automated chatbot. And they somehow managed to break massive cultural barriers that modern media companies still struggle with today. Which begs the question, how did a 1964 magazine defeat modern Hollywood? Well, you would probably assume that a publication printed on inexpensive paper during the height of the 1960s would be completely packed with outdated, regressive stereotypes. And you would be completely wrong. The newly digitized collection includes 110 issues of She magazine, printed in 1964. During a time when male action heroes completely dominated the global media landscape, this South African publication featured a female superhero protagonist. They gave women powerful, heroic roles, tackling everyday stories and real social tensions head on. They understood exactly what their audience was hungry for, and they delivered it through gripping, serialized storytelling. These fragile magazines were so incredibly loved by the public that researchers are now fighting to preserve them for global study. They survived because they mastered the absolute core of human psychology. But modern businesses have completely abandoned this tactic for something much worse. And here we are. Why did we place cinema on paper with corporate slop? Because we currently have access to the most advanced digital publishing tools in human history. Yet somehow we use them exclusively to bore our potential customers to death. Instead of telling highly engaging visual stories that capture social tension or workplace drama, we use artificial intelligence to write bland paragraphs about our optimized deliverables. We completely forgot how to tell a story. If you are good at what you do, but clients are not converting, it is because your messaging is completely devoid of a narrative hook. You are giving them facts, but you are not giving them a hero to root for. That is exactly why I built the 5-minute marketing fix. It acts as a rapid diagnostic weapon, showing you exactly what is quietly costing you sales. It helps you strip out the generic corporate jargon and replace it with a clear, compelling story framework that actually makes your buyers care about what you are selling. Stop losing sales. Download the fix now. You can get it for free in the description below, or you can go to strategicmarketingtribe.com/fix. But what about you? What is the absolute best, most effective old school marketing or sales tactic that you have ever seen a business use that completely outperformed a massive digital campaign? I'll go first. I can easily resist the most sophisticated, highly targeted, AI-driven retargeting ad on the internet. But if I walk within 100 meters of a Cinnabon, my brain completely shuts down and I rarely struggle to walk by without going in. Okay, your turn. What old school tactic still works perfectly? Let me know in the comments. I'm Vicky Sidler from the Strategic Marketing Tribe, and I post helpful news updates for small businesses every day.